This here is my flight bag, and in this video I will show you what I keep in it. Probably the most important thing I keep in my flight bag is my checklist. This is a little booklet that keeps all normal procedures. In fact, 2 pages of normal procedures, then 1 power setting table, which is useful for cruise flight. It comes with a 80 horsepower and 100 horsepower section. It comes with the emergency checklists for this airplane. Then it comes with all the briefings you might need during your flight. And then in the back I always keep the maps of various aerodromes in Austria that I may or may not need. So I just keep a lot of paper maps here that I've collected over the time I've flown, ever since I was in training. So the second book I keep in my bag is the handbook of my aircraft. This is for the 100 horsepower version, and this book comes with lots of useful information. It comes with information about almost every system, about almost every operational limit, and it comes also with section 5, which is performance, and this is really useful for flight planning in terms of fuel planning, or just in general how fast are we going and what is our true airspeed and so on and so forth. Really useful book, but it's unfortunately only a copy of the real thing. The real thing is at the airport. Then of course I'm always required to keep my pilot's logbook with me, and this is just your general logbook. It's in a nice folder, a nice black folder that looks very stylish, and it's just to keep your flying hours and to keep track of how many hours have you flown, and with what aircraft and where and what time you departed, what time you arrived, and so on. Additionally, I keep my licenses in the back, which is my medical here, my radio license here, and then my private pilot's license here. Of course, they are only valid if I bring my passport, which always goes together with this booklet, so I put them in the back together. Also, an important element is this blue folder I always carry with me, which includes things like the mass and balance for the specific aircraft and people flying with me. So this is me and my dad in a 100 horsepower airplane. Then here I keep my flight planning as well, which is just a sheet of paper that sort of says what route I'm going, what headings to use, what speed we're going and how long we're taking. Down here we also have fuel planning, and we have the different pieces of information about the aerodromes we're departing from, flying to, and the alternate. Also in this folder I keep A4 sized maps, which in this case is Graz Airport. It's just a really useful map for figuring out where to park, because down here at the bottom is the ground layout. So if I know I'm going off exit Bravo, I can look at exit Bravo, look at it down here, and then sort of figure out where he wants me to park. And it's useful to have this map in paper form as well, because if the iPad fails, I need this to find my way. Also in here is a copy of the performance section of the 80 horsepower aircraft, which is this. So I found this off the Diamond website. It's pretty accurate. It's not fully what we find in the airport, but it's accurate enough for me to do some flight planning on this and sort of estimate the true airspeed and fuel planning for a flight, and then go to the flight school and correct the values if need be. Then, sort of continuing on the flight planning part of this, I keep my 1 to 500,000 map of Austria here. It's a huge map, and I don't recommend ever fully spreading it out in the cockpit, because it will block your view. It's useful as a backup. You can fold it nicely into the section that you need, and if my iPad fails, I always have this map with me, so I can never get lost. I've also highlighted all the common routes I take, so I cannot miss a landmark, because it's highlighted and it's visible and it's easy to use. Additionally, I also have this special type of set square. So this is not your typical school type of set square with the protractor down here and the length in centimeters and so on. This is a different type of set square. This comes with the compass headings all the way around this white margin, and then for the length it uses nautical miles in the same scale as this map is in. Additionally to the scale 1 to 250,000 nautical miles and 1 to 1 million nautical miles. So what I also have is I don't even know how to call this. This is a flight planning calculator. It's probably called a flight calculator, thinking about it. and it's the CX. It's the CX2, if that says anything to anyone. And what this thing does is it calculates different parameters of your flight. So it can do altitude calculations, say density, altitude, airspeed calculations, so calculate the true airspeed or the ground speed. Then also fuel calculations. It can calculate how much fuel is used at a certain burn rate. Then it can plan your legs, so it can do ground speed and your heading. And then it can also do different calculations with the glide ratio. I find it's useful, but it's really expensive. It's about 100 euros for something that a smartphone app for 2 euros can do as well. The point with this is it can be used in exams. So if you have your theory exam, you can use this. It's one of the most useful tools for theory and one of the most useless tools while practically flying. And then of course, really important in the summer as well is my sunglasses. These are really good sunglasses by Ray-Ban and they look like this. So another important tool is my knee board, which is a little board that you can use to attach flight planning to, which is here. I have my different waypoints, my different headings and so on the front of this, and I can also take notes with a pen because there's a hard surface underneath and not just my knee. And another useful thing is if you open this flap, I keep my iPad here. So this is where I use all my maps. I only use the electronic maps usually when flying, unless they fail, which hasn't happened yet, but I have prepared for it failing with the paper map as well. And here it's really useful because you can just scroll through, you can see your route, and it's just hidden behind your flight planning. So all you have to do is flip it open, look where you're going, flip it closed, take notes, and keep checking the map ever so often. It attaches to your knee as well, which is really useful when you're doing a long flight and you don't want to hold this all the time, or you don't want to keep it on your side all the time. You just attach it to your knee and forget about it. Then one of the other really important parts is my GoPro. This is the GoPro Hero 5. I record 1080p with 60 FPS or 4K with 30 FPS, which is really nice. I like this thing. I usually attach it to my head with the head mount. And yeah, that's how I do my point of view flying videos. And in the past I've attached it to the window on the co-pilot side with the suction cup because I was alone in the cockpit and nobody needed that space, so I just attached my GoPro there, which looked good, but I honestly prefer the point of view flying. But this is a really great camera, I love it, but what I'm thinking about currently is if I can find some kind of filter that filters out reflections in the windshield, or the prop effect, I don't know how it's called, the rolling shutter effect on the prop. I'm thinking about finding a filter to remove that out of my videos. And now to probably my proudest possession, the Bose A20 aviation headset. I really love this thing. It's probably the best aviation headset money can buy. It's just great, the noise cancelling is amazing, the microphone quality is also amazing, but it's not that important in this aircraft of course. And especially it's important to protect your ears. We have about 90 decibels in the cockpit, and enduring that for about 2 hours per flight is just crazy. So this has active noise cancelling. It will cancel out most motor noises, reduce the volume massively, and then of course it comes with Bluetooth, so you can play music off of your phone. I absolutely love it, and I would recommend anyone starting out getting this because it will stay with you your entire career. It also comes with this bag where I just keep my backup batteries, because always carrying a backup is something you're taught from day one when you're flying. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, if you want to know more about the stuff I keep in my flat bag, I would totally do a video about that. I'm thinking about doing a review about Jepeson's Mobile Flight Deck VFR, which is the app I use on my iPad. So if you're interested in that, I will probably make a video about it, and then perhaps also a video about my flight planning, you know, how I go about making my routes, what type of thing I choose as a landmark, and what are the routes I know off by heart, and so on. And until then, see you.